Ooh, moment in my life I'll never forget. I don't know, I have a lot. It's kind of funny that this is the one coming to mind. But, we had a vacation in the Keys, and my dad was pulled off the back of the boat because we're lobster diving and stuff, and we ran into a whole school of jellyfish, and he got stung in the balls. It was quite hilarious, but terrifying at the same time, watching all those jellyfish just go right at him. Yeah.
I think when I raised the sun, I put all my energy in it, and I just kept saying, we need to feel the energy so we can raise the sun. And I could feel everyone else's energy all creating together, and suddenly the sun began to rise.
I think maybe it'd be the moment where I realized my self-worth more and had the confidence to not necessarily believe or do things for others. Well, I think when it comes to sports, because I'm an athlete, I had an experience or sort of a season in my life where I just didn't derive as much joy for sports as I initially did when I started playing them. So it took a lot of reflection and a lot of sort of consultation with my parents to come to the realization that I'm ultimately playing sports and I'm developing for my own purpose. I'm not living, people aren't living vicariously through me. So it's important to recognize what I'm doing and why I'm doing it essentially, and not do it for others, because ultimately it's my own view that really matters when I'm making decisions.
That's a good one. The moment in my life that I will never forget will be the time when I graduated. I got accepted into college and all of that, and I feel like that was a blessing considering my past and my life. I didn't really grow up, with a good life. So for me to have that opportunity, I felt like that was a blessing. Actually, I was in foster care growing up most of my life. Yeah, I didn't get adopted till I was about 11 years old. But growing up, it taught me a lot of things, especially being by myself and not having my own immediate family. Showed me how to be independent, showed me how to conquer a lot of things in life and be able to stand on my own. Also, growing up, it was fair I didn't have the best life growing up as a kid. I mean, my mom struggled a lot, especially with her alcohol problems and stuff. But you know what? She gave me up, and I felt like that was a blessing because, it could have been a lot worse. So I'm just grateful for that. It really taught me a lot in life, whatever position you are in life, whether you're down or up, you just don't give up.
I'll never forget the day my baby sister was born because I was no longer the favorite. Honestly, it felt pretty good. It felt at the time it was terrible sharing my spotlight, but now that I'm older, I'm content with sharing it with her.
Man, that takes a lot of thinking. I have had so many good moments, just life in general. I've been spoiled. I've had it made. I haven't had pain. I've had some of the finest family that I have ever heard of, 4 fine children. I had my wife for 70 years, and probably she was the tops of my life. She also was born right down the side on the mountain.
Getting my first car. Yeah, it was just fun having a car, driving around wherever I want.
My first car accident. You see this scar right here? So it's my first car accident. The windshield came into my forehead. What about you?
There's a couple of them that I have, but probably when I broke up with my girl. When I broke up with my girl, it was tough. I went through depression, and it was a lot, but I'm here now, so yeah.
A moment in my life that I hope I will never forget is when my grandparents were alive when I was a child. Grandparents carry all the memories.
Which moment? Well, it's a deep moment in my life that I will never forget, and that's walking into my grandmother's home, finding her body dead, cold. I will never forget that. It was just something that I would never forget because I still have traumatized mental problems from that I go to therapy for still to today. So that's a moment that I would never forget. Very close. My grandmother raised me very close. Very. It's okay. It's okay. And look, she just came out smiling.
The birth of my kids, for sure. My dad died. Definitely never forget that. Getting married. Yeah, all these things were going to college, graduating. There's pretty normal stuff, pretty basic stuff, I guess, because they involve the people that are important to me, the people that kind of help make me who I am today, for sure. Things like this are very memorable too. It's very I was just thinking this is kind of almost like a transcendent moment when you've done something that's really, really hard that you don't think that you can do, and you've ridden your bike a really, really long way. It's been really, really painful, but it's also like I did it, and I did something that I couldn't do. So about 75 miles a day, and this was about 55 today. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty amazing.
Asking this woman right here to marry me, oh man, it was amazing. This is my high school love, man. She was my first love. She's my everything. You know, we've come a long way just to get to where we are now. It's been a long journey, man. We separated for like 17 years apart and finally found each other. So yeah, it was amazing, man. She's my everything. Well, I'm actually a professional arm wrestler, and I was looking for. We actually have a tournament out here at the Redley Ballroom House tomorrow, so it's going to be a good tournament with 98% arm wrestling. But anyway, I was looking for a sponsor. I was putting on my own tournament, and I just so happened to walk into her place of business, and she was there, and yeah, man, she actually ended up taking my number, and just kind of one thing led to another, brother. So yeah.
I hope I'll never forget. It's 2 moments. Marrying my ex-husband. I hope I'll never forget. And having my son. I hope I'll never forget. So I wouldn't have had my son if I hadn't married my husband.
The first moment that I was a sentient being that I remember. So the older I get, the more distant that memory is. So now I remember being at the kitchen table with my mother, and she's dead now. My family's dead, but I hope I never forget that. Well, in time, it's distant, but as you'll know as you get older, distant memories are not the ones that you forget the easiest. It's what we had for lunch and stuff like that. So, still, I hope to remember those.
I'm gonna have to think. Honestly, just like time spent with my friends. Just like not really any specific time, just any good time with my friends. I just don't ever want to forget that shit. Those are like always the best times. I mean, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd like, want to do anything or go anywhere or be anything. They just kind of like push me forward because I can't really push myself forward. It's nice having people that can do that for you when you can't do it yourself. I mean, I kind of just now met them, but she helped. She one of them, but it's mainly just like my friends that I've kind of like had for like a few years, like from like high school, stuff like that I still talk to.
Fuck, all right, I gotta think about this. I don't know if I want to say it here, but yeah, but I know what it is.
Ooh. You can go first. You can go first. Be close to Mike.
Probably, I would say starting, because I'm a bodybuilder, so probably starting my bodybuilding journey, because that's where I met the closest group of friends I have currently and I will have in my life, and the biggest support system I have in my life. I'd say, yeah, probably starting the journey and just getting really like a foundation in good friendship and like, yeah. Shout out to my coach, Kenley Adams, Nelson Jones, Alexis Adams. She's gonna turn pro here in 6 weeks, so look her up.
I have a wholesome childhood memory. It's my grandfather used to take me to this track, and it would be like where I would soon, later in life, run high school track, but he would take me there, he'd go running and teach me how to ride a bike, and he would follow behind me and running around. I just remember looking back, and he was not with me. He wasn't holding me on the bike anymore. I was doing it by myself. He was just watching me. I guess that's one memory I really love. Hope I can keep that. Don't get Alzheimer's and forget it, but yeah. Shout out to Grandpa.
A moment in my life I hope I will never forget. You know, it's kind of funny you asked me that because all of a sudden I can't think of anything, which means have I forgotten it already? Which defeats the purpose of the question. Uh-oh. Wait, okay, let me think about this. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. It's kind of early. I'm like still waking up a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to go with that answer. So, is there any moment that you forget from moment to moment that you do forget? You can't keep everything in your brain at all times. So, I don't know. Can you forget anything? Everything? Is it gone forever?